Some very powerful pictures have emerged from this Pennsylvania site. One picture of the US president, our presidential candidate, after he's been shot at, he's bleeding here, face a little blood trickling down his face, but he remains charged, he remains defiant, and he punches the air, his fist up. That shows a man in charge. That shows a man on the move, a man who has a mission. The second picture that's actually going viral on social media is when the president's ducking for cover and blood streaming down his face. It's dripping down his nose, it's dripping down his cheek, but there's a look of steely determination on Donald Trump's face. And Shashank, if I could bring you in, it will instantly draw comparison with the presidential debate. And of course, with the fact that several analysts, even within the Democrat system, are asking questions about one, Joe Biden's fitness, Joe Biden's mental faculties, whether he's all there or not. He loses his chain of thought. He ends up calling President Zelensky President Putin, all of that and more compared to Donald Trump. Even though he's been shot at, he puts up his fist. He remains defiant in charge to make America great again.
Well, I think the important thing to remember here, and I think some people don't catch this sometimes, there's just a 4-year age gap between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, but the gap in terms of body language could not be wider. You were very right in terms of saying, what you're hearing increasingly now from the United States is a lot of people coming out and saying that, look, Trump's political brand is built on two things, right? He's tough. He showed that today with his body language after reacting to being shot, and that he relies on this idea of telling his base that, look, the establishment, the system is out to get me. They're out to stifle me and my voice. And this assassination attempt is going to play into both of the strongest elements of his political brand. He's tough and he's been victimized by the establishment. He's going to unite both of these two things going into the Republican National Convention, which, as you mentioned, is in Milwaukee. And just imagine the visuals of him having been almost assassinated today, but is then going to walk into the Republican National Convention all fit and fine tomorrow and make a defiant speech. You can already see the political narrative consolidating and solidifying behind him. And in comparison to Joe Biden, who 80% of voters believe is too old to run for president and has not been able to turn the narrative around. So the contrast between the two men will be very stark and will only continue to grow. I think that you're going to see this, post the debate, you saw President Trump steal a lead over Biden, and this may simply make that lead unassailable for Donald Trump.
The second aspect, Lenka White, is the Republicans' apprehension that the deep state of the United States of America is a stakeholder in these elections, that the deep state does not want Donald Trump to return to power. Is there merit in these fears? And when you look at this assassination attempt on Donald Trump, the fact that the assassin was able to come so close, the fact that he may have been out of the Secret Service envelope, but the Pennsylvania State Police failed to know where he was, the fact that he was able to target the presidential candidate, does that paint the deep state in a corner now?
Definitely, it points in a direction that we could think that it's not just an accident, right? There's just so many strange things at one time, and when this happens, it's always more to that. So I cannot speculate. I don't have all the information. I think the investigations are ongoing, but I find it very strange that this happened at this time before the Republican convention, after several Republican statesmen have been voicing out their concerns that something had happened, and after, Trump successfully going through the legal cases, which some of them actually got postponed, right? It was a major deal that one of the cases got postponed and he didn't have to deal with possible imprisonment. So it's many things at one time. It's very strange. We could also think of the Slovakian Prime Minister Robert Fico, who got shot about a month ago because he was against the establishment. And how it ended up, they said it was a isolated incident, but up to now there are still suspicions it was not. So I really hope they will get down to this, but I think that President Trump will make sure that the truth will come out.
Well, he's been fighting, he's been swimming against the tide in the run up to these elections, fighting not just Joe Biden and the Democrats, but also, as many argue, within the Republican camp, the deep state of the United States of America.